All right, hello. This is Curtis Vaughn, and I'm in my new studio. Hope you guys like it. I've upgraded since the last time we spoke. But anyway, enough about that. But yeah, today I want to talk about something don't think I've discussed on the channel yet, is acquisitions. And I'm talking to the new real estate investor who has never acquired a property just yet, somebody who wants to buy their first property, acquire their first deal, and how do you navigate those conversations? And I'm going to talk about it in terms of off-market deals. What is an off-market deal, you might ask? An off-market deal is when you buy a property directly from the seller without using a real estate agent whatsoever. And why would you do that? Because a lot of times you get a better deal if you go straight to the seller. There's more competition when you're working on market, because when a real estate agent gets a deal, they're going to put that thing on the MLS, and then every investor within a 5 to 10 or 20 or 100-mile radius knows about that particular deal, and it just inherently drives up the price because it's just supply and demand. You got more eyeballs on it, and it just drives up the price. So if you can learn to develop the skill of buying properties off market, you can save yourself a lot of money, get some fantastic deals, and maybe make a friend or two along the way with the seller. But anyway, talking about acquisitions in terms of off market. So, like I said, buying a property off market has some inherent advantages. And how do you do that? Well, there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can put out bandit signs. That's how I got trained originally. Just go out there and put out signs in people's neighborhoods and in the cloak of darkness and put up a sign saying, "We buy houses." Or you can go on Craigslist and put up an ad. And that actually kind of gets traction. You will get I got several investor people that I've met, potential private money lenders out of that. Or here's a crazy one: billboards. That's insane. Don't do that. It's a terrible waste of money. Terrible ROI on that. but there's like a multitude of ways. But the bottom line is, once you find a deal, you got to have that conversation with the seller. So what does that even look like? Well, when you're talking to the seller, I got training. I flew all the way down and spent $5,000 and talked to a gentleman who's one of the best closers when it comes to off-market seller conversations in the business. And he trained me on his particular process. And the man's name was RJ Bates. Wonderful guy. Love their team, love their crew, love their company. They're fantastic people. But in any case, he trained me on what he called the closer's formula. And it's a kind of a multi-step process to be able to go from picking up that phone call, having a conversation with the seller, all the way to getting the property under contract at a great price. And so I'll just go over a couple quick questions that he would ask, and some of the structure. I'm not RJ based, but I can give you some of the structure he gave as far as his closer's formula, as he called it. But yeah, it's very important that you go to those conversations in this particular fashion, because it's a tried and true method for getting you the best price possible, and learning all the things you actually need to know when it comes to acquiring a property. So with that being said, let's say I'm down on the phone. "Hello, Mr. Seller." And he picks up the phone, and first thing I'm going to say is, "Well, hey, my name is Curtis Vaughn, and I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking to buy properties. Look like you have this property on the market for sale. Blah, 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 address or whatever. Is the property still for sale?" If he says yes, he says yes. And then the next thing you're going to say is, here's this critical. Do not mess up or deviate from this. You need to ask them, what's their price? Immediately. Don't just trust me. You want to get that you want to get that answer before they get comfortable in the conversation. So, "What's your price, sir?" So you ask them immediately, "What's your price?" So they're stunned, because usually people warm up the conversation. There's a little back and forth, a little banter, and all this other stuff. So if you catch them off guard with that question, you're more likely to get a realistic answer from them. It's not 100%. I say it's more like 80%. but you're more than likely to get the real number, or at least as close as they're willing to divulge at that particular moment. So let's say he says $80,000. Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Can you tell me a little about the condition of the property? So they'll tell you about the condition of the property. And here's the critical part. While you're having this conversation with the seller, this is how RJ trained us, you actually go in and you start running your numbers right there on the spot. And the reason you start running your numbers on the spot is because you don't want to give time. You want to give an offer before they get off the phone. You don't want to give time to another investor or another wholesaler or anything like that to be able to come in and swoop up and scoop them off their feet and get a deal when you could have had that deal. So it's very important that you go ahead and start running those numbers while you're on the phone. If you feel comfortable doing that. It's a learned skill. Not everybody can do it. I have not mastered that myself. It's still, sometimes I like to take a break and get on the phone and come back to it, because some deals are more complicated than others, and you really don't want to make a mistake on the phone and give them a number you can't really honor. But in any case, so first question, what's the price? Second question, what's the condition? Third question, why are you looking to sell? Motivation matters a lot in this business. It matters a whole lot because if there's no motivation, you can learn really quickly that I'm barking up the wrong tree. Because if they're, $30,000 or $40,000 above where you want to be, and they say something like, I'm not really interested in selling. I'd sell it if I got a good deal, I guess. If they say something like that, you're probably barking up the wrong tree. You're not going to necessarily be able to get them down to where you need to be $30,000, $40,000 below that price. But, it's a big but, if they say something like they're facing foreclosure and the bank's coming to get it tomorrow, you got a much better chance of getting a fantastic deal on that property, and you can put on your Superman cape and start to go to work and do some amazing things. But in any case, so that's your next question. So first question, what's your price? Second question, what's the condition of the property? Tell me about the condition of, oops. Sorry, I'm on Zoom. That's pretty cool, actually. That doesn't do it. Nah, it doesn't do it. It's got to be two fingers. But in any case, price, condition, and third, what's your motivation? Why are you looking to sell? And then you might, just to keep the conversation going, and when you ask them condition, make sure you leave that open-ended. You don't want to ask them defined questions necessarily with like a definite answer, yes or no answer. You want to ask them open-ended questions while you're asking about condition, like, hey, tell me about that roof, or tell me about the condition of the property, and leave it at that. Tell me about the condition of the property and go silent and let them fill in the gaps. And while they're answering that question, you're doing your work on your computer and running the numbers or whatever to keep the conversation going. If they stop to slow down or taper off and they run out of things to say, so you might throw in a question like, hey, tell me about the HVAC system, or tell me about it could be anything, the sewer system or the electrical system or something like that. It could be anything, just to keep the conversation going, keep it going. And you ask them about motivation once they run out of things to say about the condition. And then by that point, hopefully, not always, you should be roughly knowing what number you're going to work on, what number you can actually offer them on the property. And then you present that number. You say, hey, well, from what I can see right here, it looks like I can do probably $80,000 on this property. What do you think about that? And you just go silent. And let them speak. Don't say anything else after that. See what they say. And perhaps you guys might have an agreement. Or maybe some negotiation needs to happen back and forth a little bit. But at the end of the day, hopefully you can work it out. But that is the closer's formula, at least my rendition of it. Well, go watch the RJ Basis channel. He does it fantastic because he's a world-class closer. He actually has a Closers Olympics. And he won. So that's how I know about him in the first place, because he's actually stood up on stage and done some amazing things in the industry. And so in any case, that's my thoughts on the closer's formula. That's my thoughts on how to acquire a property. And I'm going to try to do more of these talks on a weekly basis and make sure I'm not ghosting the internets for a long time. So in any case, that's it. Thank you so much, and goodbye.